Hello and welcome to Who Watches Who, a Doctor Who podcast with me, Matthew, and as always, I am joined with...
Hello, it's Scott.
Hello, Scott, and it has finally happened. We are finally living in an era post David Tennant coming back as the Doctor. We have seen the 14th Doctor in action, and guess what? It's basically the 10th Doctor. I don't know why they bothered to make the distinction.
It's basically the 10th Doctor with like two personality changes in a way. We'll get to that, but
yeah.
Two slight personality changes.
It's the David Tennant 10th Doctor everybody wanted to come back and that everybody wanted to see. It's not anything. And they could have done. I would think it would have been a really bold move to make him super different and like really aggressive or something. I think that would have been, I'd be really fascinated to watch David Tennant play the Doctor different. You know, but David Tennant is two doctors and they're both fucking wildly different. One actor,
or what if it's just he has a Scottish accent? That'd be so different.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Honestly, I don't know if I'd notice. He doesn't have the strongest Scottish accent to begin with.
Oh well,
not that I can talk. Like,
well, I have the strongest Scottish accent here, so.
Oh yeah.
We're both pure Scottish loons here.
Yeah, we're both very much stereotypically Scottish sounding. Anyway, David Tennant is back as the 14th Doctor in the episode The Star Beast, which is what we are going to be talking about this episode, and our like general thoughts and feelings going throughout it. And I think I'm probably the most lukewarm out of everybody I know about the episode, which I find fascinating. Everybody seems to have absolutely loved the tits off of this episode, and I thought it was like fine. I was like, this was okay, you know?
I think I like it slightly more than you do, but we both, at the end of the day, gave it the same rating. I think I'm like a high 7 out of 10. You're a low 7 out of 10, I think is fair to say.
I don't know, a high 7 probably, I would say as well. I'd probably say a high 7. Closer to an 8 than a 6. But it's still...
Of course, this isn't the first time we've seen the 14th Doctor in action. Do you want to briefly talk about Destination Scarrow, where everyone had reasonable opinions on it, you know? just Twitter was a normal day that day.
Well, you know, Children in Need is a very important part of Doctor Who canon and everything, so you have to take that bit seriously. If you don't, the whole show falls apart.
I will say I loved the first minute of Destination Scarrow. It was amazing. And then the comedy kicked in.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? It's like the opening, I was like, oh, this opening's kind of cool. This is getting me a bit excited. Oh shit, that's Davros? That's wild. And then it was wacky music and really bad comedy. And I was like, this is atrocious. And I was glad it was only 5 minutes long. I'm glad it was really short. Can you imagine if it was longer? My God.
I was really glad to find out that the origin story for the Dalek plunger was, the Doctor has a plunger inside of the TARDIS, but I guess Yaz used like an hour ago after we had a romantic Kingdom Hearts date. She had really bad poop and she needed the toilet plunged, you know? That's why it's lying around there.
Yeah, it's a literal plunger that the Daleks have. It's not just like a weird sci-fi Yuga that just so happens to look like a plunger. It's literally a plunger that they then retroactively reverse engineer to make it all technical, but keep that plunger aesthetic, which is a choice, I guess. I don't really care. It's just dumb. That's the thing. It's just like this is just not funny. It's just not a funny joke. Like, you know, but whatever. It's Children in Need. Who gives a shit? I forgot about it. I haven't. It's all I think about.
But you know, the night it aired, I think you and I were like texting back and forth about it for like 4 hours, just in pure rage about this, because it was just a waste of time.
I mean, the issue was I had watched an hour of fucking Children in Need to to get that 5 minutes piece of shit. But it's also like not Chibnall. Oh my god, sorry, I'm working on a Chibnall. Chibnall's on my brain right now. Russell T Davies was adamant. This is not a comedy skit. This is an important bit. Maybe he's just trolling. Maybe maybe he was just like, "Ha, I got you to watch a shit sketch."
Literal shit
he
sketch.
said it. Yeah, he was like, this isn't a comedy thing. This is a proper thing, and it's ties into the 60th anniversary or whatnot. Which he says everything fucking is canon and ties in now. It doesn't. Did the comic book tie into the Star Beast in any way? I don't think so.
The only thing he hasn't said ties into the 60th is the CBeebies bedtime story David Tennant did. So I'm thinking that's the only thing that's canon previously to
That's
the
the
60th.
actual bit that's canon. That bit's really important.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we were raging about it, and we were like, I presume everyone on Twitter is going to be raging about the rewrite of canon here, but they were raging about something else entirely different. I think you and I are kind of indifferent about. I can see where Russell T Davies is coming from with the whole disability angle and why he doesn't want Davros to be represented in a wheelchair.
I mean, I get it. Like you're writing a Children in Need thing, and then you're like, oh wait, hang on, the villain's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
It would be really tone deaf to have Davros show up in the Children in Need special in a wheelchair. And you could, on one hand, argue, well, then just don't write Davros in the episode. Which is like, yeah, that is something you could do. But you could also just make it a younger version of Davros, and we go back a bit and we see a bit of Davros we've never seen before. And I think that's an interesting way of looking at it. I think people have misconstrued Russell T Davis's statement when he was like, this is who Davros is now. This is when we look at Davros, this is who we see through that lens. And I think he was literally talking about this episode, not in perpetuity. I think it's like, when we're looking at Davros now, he's young and he's walking, and that's how we see him. I don't think he meant every single time we ever see Davros again will be young Davros. I mean, maybe it will be. Maybe it will be.
Maybe it will be. Like, I could see a possible future storyline with Davros where he clones himself into like a younger body of himself.
Just does a Palpatine.
Yeah, he just does a Palpatine. Why not? He kind of does look like Palpatine already in a way.
Yeah,
Julian
he
Bleach.
does. Yeah. He's in charge of the Daleks. Palpatine's in charge of the Stormtroopers. They're basically the same.
Yeah. But yeah, we don't consider it canon. It's not canon in my mind because there's multiple things that goes against it. Like, mainly, Davros was already in the chair and deformed when he created the Daleks, but here he is just walking around completely. It's not canon. It's just a skit.
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, but it's fine. It was just 5 minutes to make you go ha ha, and then forget about it. It's just really, if anything, it's more marketing for the 60th. It's not. It shouldn't be thought of anything more than just a trailer. It is not canon. But thinking about things that are not canon, the Star Beast opened up with some of the worst green screen I've ever seen in my life, and I watched Flux.
I mean, the opening of Flux when Yaz and the Doctor are hanging upside down, interrogated by the poison dog brain. That's worse. This feels
is
like.
Is it worse?
This feels like it was shot a couple of weeks ago, and Disney were like, "You need to add immediately at the very start.
Yeah,
you need to
what's happening in this episode? I mean, I just sent you a photo. Like, look at that shot. It's fucking atrocious. Like, I could make that in 5 minutes in After Effects.
I don't really care about the special effects in a opening monologue montage recap
I
thing.
do. I
don't care.
I care about them when I watch it, and the first thing I go is, "Oh shit!" Like,
Because I was working when this episode aired, and you immediately said, "Oh, this is shit special effects," and I was expecting like a big
Yeah.
space battle, and I was like, "Oh no!"
I don't know. All I'm saying is I have now lived through 2 series openings that opened with some of the worst green screen I've ever seen. Okay, so maybe I was just a bit like, oh no, it's happening again. I've seen this before. I've seen the Doctor on a bad green screen at the start of a series before. No, but, it's just it was a shock. But they do have a really long recap, which I thought was interesting because they do recap this happening in the episode as well. Like,
But,
there is exposition of, oh, this happened X amount of years ago, remember, and you went off and then you had to get this thing in your mind and you blah blah blah, and so like we had to get that entire information twice.
But
Which, I can't speak as someone who's never seen Doctor Who before, but for me, who has seen too much Doctor Who, personally, I was like, please shut up. I get it.
Yeah, this adds to my theory of it's for Americans who just have no patience, because this the exposition is like 15 minutes into the episode, and I can just imagine a lot of American viewers being like, I don't understand who these characters are or what's going on. 10 minutes into the episode and just going off and watching, I don't know, Mickey Mouse or something. It's still so strange.
The classic American TV show, Mickey Mouse. The one that everybody loves. Oh, did you watch Mickey Mouse last night? That was a good one.
What I do find interesting about this opening recap is we use a clip of Rose, but it's not a clip of Rose from this episode, which I guess means she's going to be in episode 3 of the season, which makes sense, obviously. But it's going to be interesting to see. I kind of feel like Rose was underwritten in this episode. Because what is her personality? Like, she makes toys.
I thought that Rose was pretty boring as well. Like, but I think it was the weakest performance as well on the episode, which I don't know if I have any qualms against that, really, because isn't it Yasmin Finney's first ever acting gig? Like, this, she's not done.
She
acting
did.
Before.
I think she did
Modeling,
Heartstoppers. She did Heartstoppers before this,
Yeah.
or Heartbreakers. It's a Netflix show, and then she just jumped onto this.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's just not a super solid actor. I don't know. I thought her performance was meh, and also she also has bad lines. So it's kind of like what is a awkward line of dialogue to make sound natural, or are you just bad at delivering dialogue? You know.
Bad lines definitely towards the end of the episode. We'll get to that. We aren't as pissed off about the bad lines as a lot of people are, by the way. So if you're listening to this and thinking we hate those lines because we think a certain way, no, it's not. It's where
I don't know. I hate those lines because they were really badly delivered and planned. I don't hate the meaning behind the lines.
Yeah, but a lot of people, a lot of people hate those lines because it's anti-man, or it's because a lot of people are transphobic and just awful people. It's great. It's a great time to be on X.com.
That's the same as any other time. The internet's a nightmare. We then, after we get that green screen opening thing, though, we get the brand new intro for TV's Doctor Who, and I think it looks really cool. I really liked it.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wow, this is cool. My only qualm, too short. It's way too short. It doesn't last long enough. I want it to be longer. I was enjoying it a lot.
Yeah. I want it to be like a minute long. That's a perfect intro length.
Yeah.
Get me excited, But the intro is great. I love the way the TARDIS kind of like skids along the time vortex as if it's like a stone on, like a lake. It's really cool. It's really playful, and the bit where it goes out one time vortex and into another. Awesome.
Oh yeah, it's so cool looking.
The only issue I have is the way the actual logo kind of flies in, and then it's
like a PowerPoint.
Yeah, and also the huge BBC text above it is
BBC.
Yeah, it's not great.
the huge BBC text doesn't bother me. I really like seeing the new logo in action. The new logo looks very nice in action. The PowerPoint transition, I think, adds to it because you just watch something super high quality and that they didn't have the budget to animate the text. It's great.
But yeah, it's a pretty solid intro. One of the best, I would say, of the New Who. Or I guess this is a new era because this is Doctor Who 2023
this is Doctor Who
too.
2023. Yeah, it's got its own separate section on BBC iPlayer. It's no longer.
Yep.
The era of Doctor Who we grew up with is over, Scott.
Yeah, it's
now
crazy.
We're jaded adults watching the new Doctor Who, being like, "It was better in my day." That's who we are now.
Yeah, it's crazy that the new era of Doctor Who opens up with a sequel to season 4 of the old New Who. It's really weird. Of course,
it is really weird.
Of course, next season is going to be season 1 again. So weird times.
The actual episode opened up to the scene that I was glad was the first episode, or the first scene of the first episode, because it's the scene that was leaked the most, and it's the scene that had all of the people taking photos and videos, and it's the scene that we basically watched a reconstruction of on one of the news episodes. So I was glad that it was like, oh, cool, okay, we're getting this out the way. So the rest of the episode is a surprise for me, rather than getting halfway through an episode and then being like, oh, wait, hang on, I know what's about to happen.
Yeah, it was really surreal to watch this. Because, I think I watched the reconstructed scene like twice. So it's really weird to watch it a third time in proper context. It's so strange.
Yeah, and it was I think the leaks in that were pretty accurate. I didn't find myself being like, oh, nothing's weird's happening, nobody cares. I thought it was a pretty solid.
Yeah,
time.
I think
and it's a solid enough opening scene as well. It's fun.
Yeah, and I'm glad they get right into the Donna and Doctor meeting, because a lot of other TV shows would just wait like half an hour for this, and we're just sitting around waiting for it to happen, and it's not a surprise because it's in all the trailers. I'm just glad they get it out and done with.
I'm glad that they get it out and done with as well. I thought it was pretty. I thought it was some, it's some fun, jokey stuff when the episode opens, where the Doctor's like, "I can't ever meet Donna, or if she ever sees me, her mind will explode." And then the first person he sees is Donna. It's great.
Well, actually, the first person the 14th Doctor ever sees is some furry gorilla man, I guess, in the comics. I don't know.
Isn't it like a Dalek or something?
I guess, I don't know. I don't remember. That amazing comic strip that none of us have read. It's
it
great.
Ties in. It's really important. It was really important to this episode.
Now, this opening really reminds me of the next Doctor. Just after losing Donna, the Doctor's just so happy at Christmas time, and he's just running around this market, and then all of a sudden he hears the name Rose, and he's like, what? And then pretty much the same thing happens here.
Thought that was one of the things with. Okay, so the 14th Doctor is a different Doctor, but they do the what thing like 6 times in this opening scene. He says Allons-y in this opening scene. He's like, oh, I'm the 10th. It's me, the 10th Doctor. It's me, the 10th one. I'm the 10th one. It's like, okay, why are we? So we just have 10 twice. We don't have 10 and 14. It's just 10 and then 10 again. And I think that I was kind of let down by that. I don't know. I do like 10, and it's nice to see him back. But the fact that this is a different Doctor who feels the same is kind of boring. I don't know. It feels like the least creative choice you could do with that idea.
I understand where you're coming from to a point, but it's it's one of those things to get new.
But
I
completely understand the cynical real life reasons for, we need people to watch this TV show. But I think people will watch it because David Tennant, no matter what. Like, he's a popular guy. Even if he was doing not the Doctor they knew, if he did it differently enough that was interesting for people, and sure, people would still hate it, because they're, it's Doctor Who. People hate Doctor Who. That's the whole point of the show. Is you hate it, you watch it, and you're like, God, that was frustrating. It should be better, and it never is. I don't know where that opinion comes from that it should be better, because it never has been.
Yeah, a lot of people really hated that episode, and we're like, I think they hated the episode for the wrong reasons. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Just skipping through the episode a bit up to where Beep shows up, or I felt really kind of let down by the Beep storyline. Partly, I think, because we knew about this comic. Like, didn't we talk about the Star Beast comic before the 60th was even announced? Like, I feel like we talked about it really early on in the show.
I don't recall ever mentioning it. No.
No, I mean, no. Like, I don't know if we mentioned it on the show, but like, I knew of Beep the Meep because you were telling me about this random.
Oh yes. I think I was doing research for the Eighth Doctor stuff, and I found a comic strip where, at the end of the day, Tom Baker, the actor, saves the day.
Yeah. It was fucking absolutely ages ago. So Beep has just been living in my mind. And so watching this, I'm like, okay, so we know it's going to be, this going to follow the Beep the Meep storyline where Beep is actually a bad guy. Okay, let's go on with this. At least we'll have some fun with Beep, but Beep doesn't do fucking anything as a good guy. He's like, when it's trying to be the cute thing, we get the fun ET scene that they milked in the trailer, so I couldn't enjoy it watching it, because I was like, okay, I've seen this so many goddamn times now. And then like he clings onto the Doctor's leg a bunch. They sit down, they have a conversation with them, then they run out of the building, and then they're like, hang on, Beep, you're a bad guy, aren't you? And then Beep's like, shit, yeah, you got me, I am. And then that was the reveal. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so it's like, no build up to it, and then no payoff. It just kind of happens.
I mean, it kind of goes back to what Russell Davis said about why he chose the Star Beast. It's because it's a really, really simple story to just take. You know, it's not complicated. You're not surprised by any twists inside of the story. You're more focused on the whole Doctor and Donna relationship and how she's going to get her memories back and all that. Like, we don't care about what the Meep is doing or anything like that. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And of course, Donna misses the Meep crash landing because she's leaning down to tie her shoes or something, and she says, "Never trust a man with a goatee." The only people in Doctor
she's trying to restack her boxes because they were apparently stacked all wrong or something. But because never trust a man in a goatee, and I was like, oh shit, the Master did that to her. Look at that.
That's what I'm thinking. Something related to the Master. Oh yeah, the Master is always the twist.
That was a fun little line. It made me laugh. And that, I don't want to come across as too negative in this episode. It's hard because I'm trying to talk critically about the episode and be like, hey, I want to have some opinions, and the best opinions I can like, it's really easy to be like, I liked it, thumbs up. But to talk about something, I find it a lot easier to talk about its flaws. Maybe that says more about me than anything.
It definitely feels like a flaw because we already know the basic beats just from our little knowledge of what we know about the actual comic strip. Like, we know Beep the Meep is going to be a bad guy. There's no surprises there. To the point where I almost thought that the twist was that the Meep was going to be a good guy. Like, that would be a unique twist. That'd be a shock, right? Like, this entire time, Russell T. Davies is trying to hold back spoilers by saying, oh yeah, the Meep is just a cute, innocent creature, but what if he was telling the truth? And he was just double-crossing us.
The problem with that is it's only interesting to people that know the comic, which is not a lot of people.
Yeah.
Most people don't know the twist. But what I think is interesting with this story in particular, and maybe it's the reason that I feel like slightly let down by the Meep storyline, is they start off with the Donna stuff, where they're like, oh no, what if Donna remembers you, Doctor? And then, like, they just kind of push that to the back for a bit, where the Doctor's
Yeah.
just hanging out with Donna and her family, and they're like, let's solve this beep the beep adventure thing. And that takes up a large chunk, where their Donna remembering something isn't the biggest of deals right now, because she hasn't connected those dots in her head, so they can focus on this other problem. And then they get into the starship, and then it's like, oh, wait, hang on, Donna, you're going to have to remember now. I'm going to activate the code. And that scene was fucking ace. That scene was heartbreaking. Oh my
yeah.
God.
Especially the part where Donna dies, and we totally believed it because we never showed any clips from episode 2 and 3 of the specials. Like, I just thought she was going to die here.
Well, maybe she got cloned. There was a brief moment. There was a brief moment where when she was like getting all that vortex energy, whatever the hell it is, it looks like she's regenerating. I was like, holy crap, were the leaks about her regenerating into shooting real? What?
Yeah, that would have been an interesting thing to do. But
imagine doing that in episode 1. It'd be insane.
I guess since we're here at the whole Donna remembering part, I thought the way Russell T Davies wrote out of his corner that he wrote himself into 15 years ago was really intelligent. I thought it was really, well, not intelligent, but, out of all the possibilities of writing himself out the corner, I think he picked the best one. Oh yeah, you had a child, and it kind of became a shared inheritance. That's reasonable. I completely understand that. It's pretty decent.
Yeah, that bit I like. That bit was fun. The bit after that I don't like. When it's like you've written yourself into another corner, now both of them are going to die. And the way that you get out of that one is you're just like, don't worry about it, though. And that's how it gets rid of it. I was like, okay, you kind of copped out at the end. You did a really good setup, and you paid off the first thing, and then the second problem, you were like, I don't care. I don't care, though. Stop it. Stop talking about the problem. It's done. We fixed it. Okay, it's fixed.
I
was like, that felt cheap.
But you're a man. You can't learn to let things go. That's the whole message. Which...
I need to watch Frozen. I need to watch Frozen again. I need to learn.
Let's just say we weren't the biggest fan of that. I think it's a bit... I don't know how to feel about it, really. It's too on the nose. It's too obvious.
It was bad. It just sucked. It was just bad writing. That's all. It was just lazy bad writing. That is what that bit was. That was, oh, I have another problem. Oh, we have 5 minutes left in the episode. I guess it's done. Don't worry about it. That problem solves itself. Haha, isn't that silly? Which, yeah, it's silly, and it's I guess kind of fun, but it is a cop out. Like, it's just a cop out. Like, okay, we're done with that. That storyline's over now. And it's just unsatisfying as a viewer, I think, to not have a conclusion. That it's just oh, problem solved because of magic. We magicked it away, which happens a lot in this episode. The Doctor magics up some force fields at one point.
Like... Oh yeah, well, I mean, I guess we could talk about the sonic screwdriver. It can now make TV screens, and it can resonate concrete.
I'm kind of like, okay, I've been thinking about it since watching the episode, and I kind of love in this episode, Russell T Davies took the stance of, you know what? Everyone complaining that the Sonic is overpowered and does everything and solves every problem, that is actually what the Sonic is. And I'm going to lean into that and make it do even more. It does everything, which I think is great. I think it's brilliant. I think it's really funny. I think it's definitely really funny. I'm not a fan of how this Sonic looks. It's a weird... I mean, it's the mishmash of all of the other Doctor Sonics, which is the fun part of it. I just think it looks weird, and I don't know. I miss Capaldi's Doctor, who never used his Sonic. Bring that back.
I need somebody to come in and be like, yeah, we're destroying the sonic screwdriver like we did in the Visitation, the Fifth Doctor story, where I think 2 turtle men crush the sonic screwdriver. It's a really weird story, but yeah, the sonic screwdriver gets destroyed and we never use it again in the classic series, which I feel like we should do here, because it just comes to the thing of, again, it's just overused, and it's too frequently used, and it's just helpful to write out the corners. It's uncreative.
Yeah, it's a magic wand. It's a magic wand that solves out any problem you have in the script, but I don't think you can get rid of it. I think it's too iconic now. I think Modern Who's made it too iconic to get rid of. And I don't know, maybe they thought that back with you say it was the Fifth Doctor, you know, maybe they thought, like, maybe we can't get rid of it, maybe it's too much of an iconic staple, and they just got rid of it anyway. So I guess it could be done. I mean, Capaldi had Sonic Shades for a whole season, and nobody cared.
I cared.
Nobody was upset about it.
I was upset about it.
I loved the Sonic Shades. I loved them. But you were upset about everything in Capaldi's era because you hated him because you're
I
grumpy
like
loser.
Capaldi's era,
the
especially
doctor has a
10.
guitar and is riding a tank. I hate it.
Yeah, that was awful.
That's you. That's you. That's
Yes,
so good.
yes. But you know, I
So
like
good.
Capaldi as a whole, just not when he's on a tank in like
I love it.
1420
tank.
or whatever it was.
Playing electric guitar. It's brilliant. It's incredible. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
A few more things. We see a news reporter report on the alien spaceship crash landing at the power station, and he gets taken away by unit soldiers. What do you think that's all about? Because I have no idea.
Honestly, I forgot that happened. I don't know. I guess it's not even. It's like a BBC News journalist as well, and it happens live on TV, and nobody cares.
Yeah,
Nobody talks about it again. I don't know. It's very nonchalant about the kidnapping of a journalist live on TV by the secret alien police the UK have.
I mean, after you see a prime minister get exterminated by a Dalek on national television,
I don't think anybody in the Doctor Who universe watches TV. I don't know.
I presume not.
They're
No.
very tuned out. Yeah, they're very tuned out of what's going on.
Okay, the scene after that is we just spend a lot of time at the power station. The Doctor's like walking around and stuff, and then we cut to Rose and Donna, and just we spend some time with the family, which is really nice. I really like this stuff. Rose
I really liked. Yeah, I really liked this stuff as well. To see their dynamic together, and I really especially like the scene with Donna and her mum, where her mum is trying to. Yeah, you know, she's talking about like, oh, am I using the pronouns right, and you know, all this stuff and things like that. I thought that was great. What I didn't like is, like, I don't know if it's this scene or if it's the scene before. I think it is this scene where Rose is about to go out to the shed and Donna stops her and she's like, "Hey, Rose, by the way, if anybody ever gives you a hard time or tries to hurt you, you just know that I love you more than anything, and I will burn down this entire planet if I have to. Anyway, goodbye." And I was like, what the fuck was that line about? That was out of nowhere. That felt so unnatural.
I mean, I think it really works, especially just before we get into the house. Like, Rose is essentially bullied in the street by two people on bikes, just driving past, cycling past and dead naming her, which is I think the whole,
I really liked that stuff in the episode. I wasn't expecting them to confront that issue at all. That really surprised me. I was really on board with that. I thought that was cool.
I'm glad. I'm happy with how it was handled in this scene. It was really realistic, and as Russell T Davies says on like Doctor Who Unleashed, this is to just open up a conversation between, you know, families. You know, it's really important, especially now in 2023 when things are getting worse, you know. It's not great.
Yeah.
And I think Russell feels like an obligation to tackle these kind of topics because Doctor Who's biggest UK show, and no other TV show is really tackling these topics in the same way as Doctor Who is in this episode. It's really important, so I'm glad he's doing it.
Yeah, it's cool. I think he's a bit clunky at times.
Oh yes,
and I don't think he does everything. I don't think he handles everything the right way. But I think he's doing his best, and it's for the most part it's working really well. What did you think of Rose's pro gamer best friend? I hated him. That little like 6-year-old kid. He does nothing.
Fudge is actually a character from the actual comic book.
Oh, that's cute.
So that's why he's
that's
here.
A cute detail.
He does feel kind of shoehorned in. I agree with you.
Yeah, he does nothing. Yeah,
he does nothing except later on he looks out a window, and apparently he was supposed to have a bigger scene in that moment, but because They wanted to express how quickly things were moving. They just cut out his subplot, I guess. So we get less fudge than was intended. Hashtag release the fudge cut.
Yeah, I agree. We need that. I won't rest.
Speaking
I
of
will not
food,
rest.
food-related items, what do you think of tuna madras, which is being made
I
by?
literally don't. I don't even know what that is. I
a
know it's
ch-
what the dinner they're making, but I don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
It's curry,
Like,
but it has tuna in it.
okay. Well, I mean, I don't eat tuna, so
It
that sounds as
sounds
bad as if it was
yes.
anything else in it.
It sounds disgusting, and apparently that's what Russell D Davis would have as a child, just tuna madras when he's when he's having his childhood meals. That's like one of his favorites, which sounds disgusting.
I don't know. Maybe it's great. Don't knock it till you try it. You know.
But yeah,
And
of
you know.
course, Rose goes out in the alleyway and meets Meep of a Beep, which is such an amazing, special effect. It's incredible how most of it is practical. It's incredible.
Yeah, no, I think it looks great. There was a few moments where it's CGI. I think it looks worse when it turns evil, but I think that's because it becomes more of a CGI model.
Oh, I mean,
because they made they made the big fluffy guy. He's all nice and lovely looking, but evil Meep looks bad.
Evil
That
Meep,
was-
Evil
that
Meep
was-
is still an animatronic. It's just a different head.
It looks way more CGI. They have like CGI'd its face way more. It's significantly worse looking. I thought like the fur on it, like entire face section is completely like not real.
What they say on the commentary is that most of the CGI is just to incorporate Miriam Margolyes's gestures and body language during the recording.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
incorporate
like,
some of that,
looking-
which is really cool.
Looking at this image here of evil Beep the Meep, that's a CGI shot. That's entirely CGI. The ears are fake. There's the fur is fake. There's no lighting on that thing.
Where about?
3440, like that looks terrible. When it like moves, I mean it doesn't look terrible. It looks pretty good. But comparing that model to the fluffy Meep, the fluffy Meep looks way better.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. My shot, yeah, it does look a bit iffy, but most of the time, 99% of the time, I would say it looks incredible. For British television.
As
that's
for
pretty
Doctor Who
good.
as well, yeah, for Doctor Who as well, it's a pretty damn good effect.
And I'm pretty sure this is before Disney jumped on board, so this is still BBC
Yeah.
money at
I'm
work here.
It's talking of effects. I am most interested in seeing this coming Saturday's episode, because that is the episode they said is like 90% effect shots.
Yeah.
It's a big effect episode, and I was like, okay, so we'll see. This could be this could be the Flux situation we're watching. Imagine if it's all, remember that blue pixely thing, that the particle effects that happened on screen multiple times and looks atrocious. What if the entire episode is just that? It's just that going around back
That'd be
and forth
awesome.
for
I'd love it.
50 minutes.
What if it
And
looks
he's
like
yeah.
Spy Kids 3D?
That would be incredible. I would. That would be. I'd be on board with that. But no, I don't know. I am excited. I wasn't let down by. I don't think there was any effect that took me out of this episode. I think everything was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that different looking from the Flux era Doctor Who. Or like not the Flux era, it's like because Flux does look terrible, but I mean like the power of the Doctor,
Yeah.
and things like that. Like it's the cinematography and stuff is basically the exact same. The set and lighting and things like that, I was honestly kind of disappointed by because I was like, oh, it looks a bit flat, and I guess it's just because it's TV. There's there's only so much budget at the end of the day still, but.
I guess it looks mainly flat because most of it is set in like a domestic setting. Most of it is set in like Donna's house or in a car park,
Yeah, and it's like all at nighttime as well.
Yeah.
You know, there is like one light happening, and it's only going to be like above us.
It's interesting that the 14th Doctor is like 12 hours old at this point, and he has no sense of like regeneration illness at all. He's completely the 10th Doctor.
Yeah, this is the healthiest regeneration we've ever had.
Yeah.
Very healthy regeneration. Yeah, I haven't even thought about that. Yeah, no, there's no dopiness, no blindness, no needing to sleep. Just immediately solved a problem with Daleks, went off and married a few people, and then went to go see his old buddy Donna. That's wild.
Like 16 hours ago, he was on a romantic Kingdom Hearts date with Yaz. It's so weird to think about.
That is, he's recovering from his breakup with Yaz still.
My theory is that maybe he's completely fine because this is an old body, and maybe it's kind of like it was saved up over time. You know, it's like it was just in the background or something. I don't know how to explain it, but it's, you know, it feels like it's because
he's used. He's used to how that body feels and works.
Yeah.
You know, he's familiar with it. It's getting, you know, I don't know what the term is, something comfy. You know, it's just familiar. Because I can understand.
Because again, this is essentially the 10th Doctor, except there's like two slight personality changes where in the exposition scene, he tells Ruth Midley that he loves Donna, which is something new for the 10th Doctor. And he also whips out a judge's hat out of nowhere like he's Bugs Bunny. You know?
Yeah, that scene was great. I loved that scene where he was looking like a judge and he had the wig on. That was brilliant. I thought that was a lot of fun. I did think that was where the episode started to fall apart at the same time, because that's when the pacing gets really weird.
Oh, yeah.
After the Meep reveal of being evil, the episode is just suddenly in a rush to be over. And I was like, oh, okay, we're speeding up. Okay. It's still really fun. But it gets very silly, especially when it starts being like, oh, hey, we're going to rip up all the roads across their London or wherever it is they're staying. Cardiff. Are they in London?
London. We're in London because Camden
London,
Bay.
Yeah. They rip up all of these roads across London. There's giant lava and everything falling through them. And then they just like undo it. They just reverse and all the roads fix themselves as they're... So it's like it never happened. It's like, what the fuck was this about? Did nobody fall into that? Is everybody okay? Like, I think like stuff like that was really not thought about. And you know, fun, silly Doctor Who. We've seen stuff worse before and whatnot, but it's not the sort of thing I was expecting in this episode. Is that sort of levels of silliness? But you know, it's not. I'm not against it.
I mean, compared to what we saw 2 years ago, where the entire universe is at stake, and then Chris Chibnall forgot to
the universe isn't at stake. The universe is destroyed. The universe is gone, pal. Like,
and you know, Chibnall forgot to reverse it. He forgot to hit the reverse switch, whereas here there's a literal reverse switch, and just
I guess they literally, literally reverse it. Yeah,
you know, if you look closer,
there's no winning. There's no winning with the fans. You can't leave the problem as it is, and you can't just reverse it undone. There's no pleasing them.
But yeah, this is where we find out that Meep is evil, and who could have seen that coming? It's a huge shock.
What a twist. Yeah, what a twist. Although I think it was perfectly timed, because it was literally the scene before that happening. My mum went, you know what? I don't think we can trust that Meep. Is too cute. And I was like, okay. And then that scene happens with the reveal, and I was like, okay, that was pretty well paced out, because you do the twist right as people are starting to catch on to, hey, hang on, there's something, that guy's too, you can't trust him. You know, there was... I think it was well timed in the episode to happen.
In the original draft of the script, it would be revealed that Meep is evil from the like immediately. Because in the shed there was supposed to be a moment where Meep the Beep would kind of turn to the camera and go, "I want to eat your blood," and then Rose would be like, "What did you just say?" And then the Beep would be like, "Meep, Meep," like, which is.
I'm glad that that was only a draft one idea and that they got rid of that because it's genuinely terrible. It's a genuinely terrible idea.
But you know,
Although at the same time, I wish it was still in there because I would be dead. I think I would just be dead. It was like, oh my god, yes, Russell T Davies is back, and then that's the script we get. I'd be like, what the fuck, no.
Yeah, Russell was persuaded not to do it, I think, by either Disney or Phil Collinson. And then Russell's like, I still really want to do the script that way. I feel like there's something missing now. It's like, Russell, no, maybe you should just listen to people.
No, it's a bad idea. What happens to people? Why do they get on Doctor Who and then forget how to write? Why does that happen?
We also get a Wilf fake out inside the Madonna Noble house.
Oh my god, my heart broke. My heart broke in that scene. When they were like talking and Donna's like, oh no, Wilf's no longer with us. I was like, oh shit, did they cut out his scene to be like, you know, hey Wilf, you know, we'll pay you respects. We won't bring you back from the dead. We'll just say like, oh no, you passed, and we'll do like a in memoriam thing at the end. I was like, we're not gonna get to see the Wilf scene? No. And then they're like, haha, he's alive actually. And then I was like, oh phew. And then I went, oh no, they wrote this before he died. That's so sad.
Yeah, it's such a weird moment because, you know, Bernard Cribbins was like 94. The writing's on the wall, so it's a bit weird to do a fake out gag like that, isn't it? It's real. And also just the way they react to thinking the Doctor's a complete moron for thinking Wilf died.
Well, you think a 90-year-old man's gonna die? What?
like the way they word it as well is just so vague. Oh yeah, he's not here with us anymore, and it's like,
yeah, he's not with us anymore.
Of course, your first instinct would be that he
talks
died.
like that. Yeah. It's a really forced setup for a really a kind of upsetting payoff, which I don't think would be upsetting if you know, Bernard Cribbins was still here, but you know, sadly he is not. And so it makes this, it's just aged badly. It's just aged before it came out, you know.
But we also do know that Wilf is going to appear in episode 3 probably for a scene, I would imagine, for just one scene, which I'm looking forward to.
Well,
but I'm going to cry.
I imagine the toy maker attacks the old folks' home or something. You know, the Doctor drops in to pay a visit to Wilf, and then the toy maker attacks, and the Doctor has to run away. Or the toy maker's toying with the Doctor, and is like, "Oh, I'll kill everybody you care about, like Wilf."
Oh, Jesus!
And then the Doctor runs off to go save him.
Well, Wilf is probably protected because Ruth Madeley suggests that everyone has weapons in their wheelchairs.
Yeah, yeah. You know, although Wilf is also, they said that he's getting taken care of by Unit.
Yeah,
isn't it? Unit is taking care of him. Which
what
are Unit in this one? They're kind of an army because they come out with like the army guys, but then they're also, we see them acting as the super spies. I guess they're just all of it now. They're just a mess of everything they've ever been. Where's the Snake guy? Remember, where's the Snake guy? He set up Unit.
Yeah, the Snake guy was just like a few days ago, essentially, in terms of the Doctor's life. Yeah, what is the Snake guy?
He's dead, isn't he? He gets killed.
Oh God. We keep bringing up Chibnall, and I'm sad. This is a lot better than Chibnall stuff. I tell you that much.
Yeah. It is. It is a lot better than Chibnall. It's probably... I was talking with some friends about this on Discord, and I was like... one of them described it as, they were like, you know, I think I liked this episode the same amount I liked The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
Yeah.
And he was like, to be clear, I like the episode The Woman Who Fell to Earth. I think that's a good episode. And I was like, you know what? I agree. Like, I like The Woman Who Fell to Earth. That's a fun, solid episode, and it's a decent enough soft setup where you're like, oh, that's a bit of silly fun. This feels like Doctor Who, doesn't it? You know, and you get set into it. It's really these next episodes where we're going to see what is different and what is going to be like they said, this I think is a really good first episode because it's so safe.
Yeah,
isn't it? It's
Yeah.
very. This is look. It's the 10th Doctor. Look, it's Donna. Look, it's Doctor Who. It's the Doctor Who you know. Isn't that great? Doctor Who's here. And then the way that they've especially been describing this week's episode, this is where we can start to be like, oh, let's do something wacky. Let's do something weird. Let's mess with this and go super creative and fun. Now that you're back, isn't that great? What a roller coaster. I can see that happening, and just hopefully it's the opposite. It's like inverse Chibnall, where the first episode gets you set up, but instead of being let down throughout, your expectations are constantly blown away, and it's like, oh my god, that was the best, instead of, oh my god, why am I still watching this show?
Yeah. Chibnall stuff was really interesting. We also
That's all I think about. I think about his stuff all the time.
I know,
It's fascinating.
you do.
It's
you
honestly
do.
fascinating.
You really do. One thing I'd say about this episode is there's no shot where I'm like, oh, this is too close to the camera. Why is this character being cut off at this angle?
That's a great point. Oh my
Like-
god, that's a great point. There was like over the shoulders
Yeah.
and wide shots and two shot. Like it wasn't just like reverse shot of a close up. You're so right. I didn't even think about that. Oh god, what a breath of fresh air. Like
Everything feels so much more lived in. It feels more cinematic. It feels normal rather than
it feels like they're in the room together.
yeah.
Rather than they're not in the room together, or it feels like they're connected. They're in an environment. They're not standing against a screen. It makes such a huge difference.
One more plot point that's important to talk about is Donna gave her money to charity, which is a really funny moment where she finally gets her memories back, and she spends like a solid minute just upset, but she gave all the money away because she wanted to be like the Doctor, even though she couldn't remember the Doctor. It's a really nice little funny detail.
It is a very funny little detail. It's very cute. And I would also be furious if I gave away 100 million, because I could give away 99 million and still be sorted for life. That's you could give away 99 million and still be like, I did something good, and keep 1 million to yourself and be fine. That you'd be totally fine. You'd be sorted. So yeah, no, I understand the anger that she has, because it was a silly move to make.
Oh god, so funny. A few other things. Donna gets woken up again like the Winter Soldier. Volcano.
She does.
That's all I could think about. December 19th. Homecoming.
I didn't even make that connection. Yeah, she does. She is the Winter Soldier. That's amazing.
And the way it gets explained why she's coming back and she's fine is we do a flashback of the whole binary part.
Oh fuck.
And then we intercut it with Rose saying non-binary, which
binary, non-binary. It was so bad. Honestly, it was a oof moment.
Yeah.
And there was I think it completely took the wind out the sails.
Yeah.
Of the scene. And I totally understand where the idea comes from, because on paper that's a cute idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I have this non-binary character, and there's this scene from earlier in the show where Donna keeps saying binary, but what if we change that to instead, we could fit in non-binary, and so it goes binary, non-binary, and then it's like, oh shit, whoa, we've turned it into a whole new meaning of something. Isn't that insane? And it's like, yeah, that is pretty insane. It's too bad that it is presented so cringily that it made me want to die.
Yeah, that's a bit in the script that's too clever by half. It's clever, but it doesn't really work. And
it doesn't quite work. And
it's at least positive representation, compared to a lot of other shows. It's not something to be too upset about. It's just the last half is just on fast forward mode, and the metaphors, the themes, the social messaging is like so forced.
I think the issue is the metaphors start taking over the plot.
Yeah.
So instead of the plot happening and having metaphors throughout it, the metaphors are infecting the plot, and the plot is only happening because of these weird ass metaphors. Where it's like, oh, this is working because I guess the vortex energy in you was a metaphor for being a mother. I'm pretty sure it was literally inside you, though. So how are we gonna solve that problem? Like that was, it stopped being a real problem and instead turned into a character beat, and it was like, okay, that was cute, but there was a genuine like life-threatening problem a minute ago. It's not the biggest deal, though. Like, it's still a fun episode. I don't know.
It's almost like Russell D. Davis was in a text exchange with Chris Chibnall, just spitting ideas, and Chris Chibnall was like, but what if you could bring back the non-binary line? That feels like a Chris Chibnall kind of move, in a way.
Yeah. Maybe he consulted. So,
of course, they hit the reverse switch, and the Meep gets arrested by the Wrath Warriors, which we haven't talked about yet, and the episode itself doesn't really focus on the Wrath Warriors, do they?
No, they're barely in it. And I thought they looked great. It's weird. I thought they looked better in the set photos we had saw of them than they did in motion. Maybe that's just the disconnect of seeing something that unrealistic looking move as opposed to seeing it still. It's like, whoa, that thing's amazing. And then when it moves, your brain goes, nope, that's not real. I thought they were fine. They were weirdly comedic relief, which I was like, okay, cool, I guess. None of their jokes landed for me. I didn't find them funny.
I'm surprised that Russell didn't just swap them out with a Jadoon, because they basically serve the same purpose.
They're basically the exact same. Yeah.
Police bad. That's basically the whole story of them. Except they don't even
I guess
they don't even do the story of police bad. I guess why?
Oh, well, I guess police are good. Yeah, but if they do the Jadoon, the Jadoon, you're like, oh, those guys aren't technically bad guys. They're police, so they wouldn't be invading the earth right now. They come here looking for criminals, so I guess that Meep is a criminal. You'd figure it out really quick.
Right.
You'd put together like you're a fugitive on the run, not you're a refugee escaping these exterminating forces.
But what if the twist is that the police were wrong and it was innocent all the time and we are just enforcing police brutality?
No. How about instead the fluffy guy is bad, and we don't worry too much about the police storyline. We brush past that issue. We just walk right past it. That's one of the issues we just dodge. Like you just whoa. Like
I do love the way they kind of force Donna to have to remember the Doctor here, because sorry, we're going back a bit. We're all over the place, but there was a button pressed and the room they're in the spaceship gets cut in half essentially, and there's like a force field, kind of like Phantom Menace,
Oh yeah.
And Donna needs to press some buttons on the other side of the room, so she has to be awoken. That's a really clever
It's also
idea.
like it's like Wrath of Khan, where the room gets split and one half is like full of radiation, and Spock's like, I'll go in there and I'll die, and in this case Donna is Spock.
Or Star Trek Into Darkness, where we do the same thing but worse.
Where it's Wrath of Khan but reversed, because Kirk dies instead.
Does he die? He kind of comes back. Oh,
yeah, he does. No, he dies. They cure death in that movie. They cure death.
They also killed Noel Clarke, which was fun.
They did. He blows up right at the start. It's fun. I do like the JJ verse movies. Star Trek Beyond is fucking fantastic.
I need to rewatch it. I need to watch a lot of Star Trek. I've only seen the movies and a couple of episodes of not Discovery. What's the TV show called?
Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I love Star Trek. It's so good.
Yeah, absolute nerd.
Can we talk about how the Doctor is now a pro gamer?
What do you mean?
Well, he's got an RGB TARDIS.
All right.
He's got those that pro gamer setup. Like,
Yes, the TARDIS is fucking incredible. I don't think we need to say anything else about that, but we will. But oh my god, it's beautiful.
I love the RGB lights so much. They're so silly. It was ridiculous. But it's very fun. I like how it's ramps everywhere. I want to see those other rooms. There's doors.
Yeah.
I want to see those other rooms. Give me a whole big other room TARDIS, please.
Oh god, could you imagine? Could you imagine having to climb up one of those ramps to get to your bedroom? You know, you're just exhausted after defeating the Daleks. You're like,
I'd rather do that than have to get up some stairs or have to go. Remember what Tennant's other TARDIS was? You had to drop through the floor. There was no other route. The floor was down. It was a tower. It wasn't like, you know.
So apparently there's like 400 roundels inside of his TARDIS, and each light can be controlled independently, so it can like spell out words and. What words can you think of? Like come? That's a word I can think of.
Yeah. That's fun. I really like the first time that Tennant sees the TARDIS, the first thing he does is run all the way around it. So we can really get a sense of how goddamn big the inside of this TARDIS is. And it is massive. And I love it. But you know what? It's not as good as McGann's TARDIS. McGann's TARDIS, better. McGann's TARDIS maybe same size and bigness, maybe a little bit smaller, but McGann's TARDIS cozy, and messy, has stuff everywhere. No stuff in this TARDIS. Too clean. Stuff.
What I want from a TARDIS is for it to feel like a home, and Paul McGann's TARDIS, I've always loved it since the minute I saw it. Like that was always my favorite part of a movie, you know. Just opening it up.
Oh my god, I live in that TARDIS, man.
It's beautiful, and it feels like a home because the TARDIS is a home, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas this is just another space. I sound disappointed here, but it's just another spaceship design, you know? Just another spaceship. It doesn't feel like a home, but it's gorgeous.
It is another spaceship.
It's gorgeous.
It's a stunning spaceship. It is a stunning spaceship.
But
I wish it was McGann's TARDIS.
But it's also empty as fuck. You want a jukebox in there somewhere, don't you? Like,
yeah, there's got to be something. A nice big chair somewhere.
Yeah.
You know?
But, you know, where is a room for furniture? There's not really any room, I guess, because most of it is just ramps and
I guess it is a horrendous design. When you think about, like, where these ramps go, what the purpose of them is, and how this entire room functions, it's a terrible design. It's entirely visual. Like, this was a visual first idea, where it's like, whoa, that looks cool. None of it makes sense. None of it is well thought out or planned, but it looks cool. And that's good enough. Yeah, that's good enough, I think.
And, you know...
but I'm excited by it.
I'm excited about it as well. I want to see what they can do with it. There's a lot of hints about what will pop up in the future.
Yeah, I like how the TARDIS console is kind of classic Who-y.
Yeah.
You know, it's like kind of smaller and white, and it feels like it would fit in classic Who. It's quite cute.
So it was apparently Rachel Talalay's idea that David Tennant should run around the TARDIS, and it was up to David Tennant to find the best route he wants to take. And apparently by the end of his second take, he was fucking exhausted, which I don't blame him, because that's a lot of room to run around.
Yeah, it's massive. My question,
Uh-huh.
right, and this is a in canon lore universe question.
Oh boy.
So we've seen, usually before the TARDIS will change because the Doctor exploded inside of it. Or I guess Matt Smith's one's changed halfway through just because he was bored.
It changed halfway through because the 11th Doctor as a person changed. He just lived up on the clouds.
Yeah.
And became depressed old man. And the fairy tale kind of TARDIS didn't fit his vibe at that point in the series anymore.
Yeah, he was way more dark. He was way more upset. You know, because he was like, oh, I have to hang out with Clara now. Yeah, but like there was no canon reason for it to change other than thematic
Yeah.
theme, other than we want to reflect. So I guess it's okay that this one changed because it's like, oh, you're not Jodie anymore. You don't like your TARDIS to look like a big dead spider. I guess we'll give you this big interior. The real question will be, is this just going to be Shooty's TARDIS?
Yes.
Is this just going to be Shooty's intro to the show, or is this 60th special only? Because this is a big budget for a TARDIS. You want to use this in more than 3 episodes.
Yeah, David Tennant
feel like Shooty's.
David Tennant has talked about. I think it's roughly around the same time he's filming the commentary. He just wandered in on Shooty filming his next season, and he just watched this TARDIS be used. So it's the same TARDIS. So yeah.
Okay.
Because it's too expensive to just throw away after the 60th anniversary. But I imagine Shooty is going to add some new furniture to it, because we have seen a leak, and there is apparently a jukebox involved at some point. But also, if you go to Unleashed, you can see a jukebox just behind David Tennant. So maybe the leak comes from... Maybe the jukebox was abandoned halfway through the production or something. I don't know. Oh, we're nerds here.
I don't know. That'd be cool. I would love to see Ncuti Gatwa and God, I don't remember the name of the lady, but Ruby, his companion, dancing on the TARDIS to music coming from a jukebox. I think that would be great. I think that would be super, super cool. I cannot wait for his series to start. God damn.
Oh, yeah. So soon.
And I'm really... oh my God, it's crazy soon. It's less than a month away. And I was, just to kind of like give a bow to this like very rambly episode. I very much enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
I was not blown away by it. It was not... I don't think it was ever going to be possible for me to watch this and not feel a slight disappointment, just because I'm a Doctor Who fan and that's like my main emotion. But I did love this episode. I love is a strong word. I think I really liked it. It's a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, solid opening. It's got me very excited for what's to come.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the episode did best, is it's made me... it's like, oh, here's a little taste, here's your appetizer before the main course and dessert arrive, for the rest of this era that is going to be the return of the Russell T Davies stuff. So I am more than happy, and I cannot frickin' wait for it to be Saturday so I can watch episode 2. I can't wait.
God, I'm so excited to see what episode 2 is even about, because we literally know nothing. We've seen under a minute of footage, and it's just Donna and the Doctor wandering around this spaceship, and there's a point where the Doctor licks a computer chip, and that's all we've seen. Like, there's nothing to it. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Just go back a little bit. There's a point where Donna suggests that maybe she's going to become a recurring character from now on, which, because she goes to the Doctor, she's like, you can always come back, visit for tea, we could have a great laugh and all that. We know Rose is going to come back and be a recurring character. Suggests that Donna is going to come back.
Maybe. Even if she does come back, I don't want to see her all the time. As rude as that sounds, I don't want... Like, I would like it if we saw her maybe once in a blue moon.
Yeah,
maybe the Doctor's going through a hard time, needs some advice, or, he's just hanging out and then an adventure happens. But I don't want Donna to overshadow new companions and new adventures. Of course not.
I would like to see Donna as much as we see Kate, like every few years, basically.
Yeah.
Funniest bit comes from...
we're going to see Kate soon as well.
The new TARDIS is like is it a tea machine or is it a coffee machine? I can't remember what it is, but Donna tells the story of one time she spilled tea at work, and she does it again. She causes the TARDIS to explode here. Which is like the funniest moment of the episode.
I thought it was really funny. I thought it was really funny. It's like, oh my God, look at the awesome brand new TARDIS we've got, and it's exploded. It's blown up. Of course. I thought that was really funny.
And I fucking love how excited the both of them are about this TARDIS. Just the Doctor just jumping around and Donna just also jumping around a little bit. It's really cute how, we're back together, best friends. It's awesome. Their chemistry is just so good here.
Yeah, yeah, they're. Sorry, I'm yawning. Yeah, they're a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing more adventures with them. And it was a good episode.
Yeah.
I reckon this is going to be the weakest episode of the three.
It definitely is, and I think that's a lot of why people are disappointed, because you hear a big anniversary special is going to come out, and you're thinking along the levels of the 3 Doctors or the 5 Doctors or Day of the Doctor, where the story is this huge thing and Doctors get back together. This is just a normal episode, I would say. There's nothing too special about it.
This would fit in the regular series. This doesn't feel like a celebration. Yeah.
But I am fine with it because I know there's more to come. There's 2 hours worth of content to come. I think next week's is going to be more anniversary-y. And, we just came off of the power of the Doctor, which also felt like an anniversary special. So it actually was an anniversary special because it was the BBC's 100th anniversary. So, that's where the anniversary comes in, But next week is going to be massive. I really hope they didn't overhype it, because there's a lot of room to be disappointed in,
There is. They have been picking up that episode to be like the best thing that's ever happened. I just saw a clip of David Tennant describing it as it's unlike anything we've ever done before. I keep hearing that, and I bet it's not gonna be. So we'll see. Also, how do you feel about the power of the Doctor is the end to the modern era of Doctor
Crazy,
Who?
but also it does fit. Power of the Doctor wasn't a celebration of the show. It feels like a proper finale to that era of Doctor Who, and now we're in the new Bad Wolf Disney era, which it felt so strange to see the Disney logo in the end credits of this episode. Insane. I can't get used to it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very strange. But yeah, God, time just keeps marching on, doesn't it?
Yep.
It doesn't fucking stop.
Before you know it, Ncuti Gatwa is going to be the Doctor in 12 days from the point of recording. We're going to see Ncuti Gatwa. How exciting! Or maybe in 5 days. We'll see. Maybe he's in episode 2.
Maybe he's in episode 2. That is one of the possibilities, isn't it? Maybe he shows up this weekend.
Because we still need to know the context between that behind that scene where Shooty's like, "What the hell is going on here?" Because that suggests it's before the regeneration, or maybe it's maybe it's a clip from the Christmas special, but I don't think so.
I don't think so either, and we do know that the background to that scene is completely fake.
Yeah.
Because they cut Ncuti out of the actual scene he was in because it would be too crazy to show and too big of a spoiler. So I guess it could be a what the hell is going on here sort of thing, because he's like, why am I here? What's going on? How am I looking at you, 14th Doctor? Or maybe it's just after he regenerates. I don't know,
but yeah, we'll find out soon enough. It's going to be interesting.
I'm excited.
But anyway, I really enjoyed the Starbase. It's like a 7 out of 10. The first half really paced perfectly, I would say. And then it's just fast forward mode from then on. The plot wraps up way too quickly. And there's some iffy messaging that's a bit too forced, but it's Doctor Who. It's never been subtle.
Yeah, it's cool. I'd be really interested to know what people thought of this episode if they had never seen Doctor Who before.
Yeah,
if this was their introduction to it, or like if you were a kid right now living in the year of our Lord 2023 AD, what would you think of this? Would this make you watch Doctor Who? Like, is this equivalent to Rose?
Yeah.
You know, the episode 1 with Eccleston is like, this is like a stepping on point. Would this make you want to keep watching?
Yeah, 'cause
I don't know.
you know, if a friend went up to me right now and said, "Hey, I want to watch Doctor Who. Can you tell me where to start?"
I'd say Rose.
Just to quickly catch up, I would say watch from Rose to the end of time, and then you can jump on the 60th anniversary and catch up with season 5 to season 13 at any point. You just need the first 4
Yeah.
seasons, and then you could jump on here, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, that was a point actually I want to mention before we
Yeah.
wrap up the episode. There was a conversation David Tennant has with the lady in a wheelchair whose name I could not tell you if you put a gun to my
The
head.
character's name is Shirley.
Yeah, the conversation he has with her, where he is like, oh, you know, I was a guy that liked bow ties, and then an old Scottish guy, and then I was this lady, and now I'm back to this other face, which is a conversation I'm so glad they had, because
Yeah.
it reaffirms that no, the canon did happen. This is not, we're not undoing that. You know, the Matt Smith era, the Capaldi era, the Jodie era, these are solid, these are part of the show's history. They didn't just be like, forget about them, you don't need to watch
Yeah.
that. They made sure to say, hey, all these other adventures happened. And I was just like, oh, that was nice, because it would be, you know, that's what one of the issues I had with Tennant coming back is, doesn't this kind of make the other episodes pointless?
Yeah,
Because who
and-
gives a shit?
And, you know, we've seen a lot of people on X.com saying they had to bring back David Tennant because Jodie's hero didn't work out so well, but bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Go on.
Yeah. Okay, before we wrap up this episode,
Oh.
then I've gone on to the Doctor Who forum, Gallifrey Base. What do you think? It's this time of year again. We get a look at the ratings. What do you think the highest score is on a 1 to 10
highest
1 to 10
score.
scale? What do you think is winning? Who has the most votes? What are people saying this episode is out of 10?
I would say people are going to say it's like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I'm going to go with 8.
You would be bang on.
Nice.
31% have given it 8 out of 10, with second place being 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
So
that's
maybe our
fair.
opinion isn't that out of pocket. You know, we're pretty much in there. Third place, 9 out of 10. Fourth place, 10 out of 10. Very nice to see. 1 out of 10 only has 1% of the vote.
that's
It
decent.
is the lowest, second lowest after 2 out of 10. But I like who writes 2 out of 10. That's a weird vote. But it's nice to see. But it also just is kind of yuck when you remember how many Jodie episodes got 1 out of 10s. There was always a chunk. It was always at least like 4 or 5% would vote 1 out of 10 every single time, no matter what. But I guess some people can't get over themselves.
Yeah,
You know?
and yeah, I'm glad Russell T Davis is saying, yeah, this is definitely canon. It's fine because next week there's a Flux reference next week, so
Apparently, yeah, we'll
yeah.
see.
wonder if he's gonna address the fact that most of the universe got destroyed and we never reversed it. Like, I hope that gets addressed. Fingers crossed.
Maybe they reverse it. They do have the reverse damage button that they can press.
Yeah, we do.
So maybe they could just reverse it as well. They're
God,
reversing
crazy.
stuff, so. Yeah.
But yeah, Doctor Who's
Anyway,
back, baby.
yeah. Oh boy, we're here. We're finally goddamn here. Yikes. I'm scared. But we will be back this week, because this episode is late, at some point after the airing of Wild Blue Yonder. I don't know when. I don't know. We'll see. But it will be after it airs on Saturday. Things get a bit out of sync when live TV starts happening, but we will see you then. I'm very excited. Thank you for listening to this. You can subscribe to our YouTube at Who Watches Who podcast on YouTube, where you can see our lovely faces in video form. This podcast is also available in audio form anywhere you get podcasts. Shout out to Slovenia, where we have been in the top 50 on Apple Podcasts in the film and TV section, which is very nice to see. crazy. You guys just love us over there with your tiny population and not a lot of people that listen to podcasts, I bet. But it counts. I love you. Well done, Slovenia, best country in the world. You can get us in audio form. That's in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. We have an RSS link you can plug us into. You can follow us on x.com at Watches Doctor. We are on Facebook at Who Watches Who, where you can listen to us. Be sure to subscribe and like if you are on YouTube, and leave a review if you're listening to us on audio realm sphere places. Anyway, see you later on in the week, probably.
Bye.
Bye.